Oh my gosh. Alright guys, welcome to part 2 of this video. The more I look at this thing, the less I want to look at it because this thing is just so ugly, terrifying, and the more I look at it, I just see more and more things that I need to touch up on, and I just really don't want to do that. But at the same time, it's like killing me that it's so ugly. So I'm going to continue because there's no point of whining. It is a project that I'm going to have to keep going with. Plans for today for this thing is to peel the clear coat. There's no clear coat. Peel the paint off of the swing arm, recoat it, repaint it, clean it, whatever. Basically bring up the view of it. Maybe take off these control arms in the front or A-arms. Also wanting to remove this spring right here on either side and remove the rear one. Take the spring out of each shock and repaint it just so it looks that much better. In my eyes, what I believe is that when there's like a color that's contrasting off of another body part, it really makes the color pop and it makes the four-wheeler look that much better, that much nicer, and you know, someone's gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, wow, that looks nice. But when it's like matted out like this and kind of chipping and, you know, just ugly in general, this is basically what you're gonna get. You're gonna be like, wow, that thing's hideous. So I'm gonna be starting out with the swing arm because I already put the substance to peel the paint off of it. I can't remember anything today. It's really cold. I swear my brain is frozen. That's why I'm wearing like 2 layers of jackets and a hoodie, and I'm probably gonna put more layers on. But I'm gonna start off with the swing arm because I put the coat on it for peeling the paint. I forgot what that stuff is called. I can't remove that, so I'm not gonna be touching it. I'm probably gonna repaint it as well after masking everything else off. And then I'm gonna get to the rear shock, these 2 shocks on both sides, and removing these control arms. So let's go. All right, so I'm gonna be moving on from the rear shock to the front one. I'm not sure how I want to do this, to be honest, because I can start from the bottom, but I don't want it to like shoot out. I think I'll start from the top because then I'll be able to lift the quad up a little bit, take the shock out of the way because there's still some space here, and then go for the bottom one, and that way it'll be safer, I guess. I don't know. What you just saw, by the way, on the swing arm, basically I just kind of took off most of the paint that I could, but I'm going to bring this thing outside and just hose it down, just so there's no excess paint or, you know, like paint stripper left. But yeah, because I'm really wanting to paint that as well, and just so that it's not like a crappy job, I'm gonna go ahead and wash it off later. Okay, see, that's what I wanted right there. There was a little bit of movement here, but only because it kind of moved to the right side. Well, for me, the right side. And it secured itself in here, and if I would have done it at the bottom, it would kind of popped out, flew away. So it's still probably gonna do that, but not as hard because it's not really compressed over here. Actually, while we're on the subject, let me pick up this front end and move the shock out of the way. Yep, just like that. Simple as that. Just making sure to put all the bolts back into place so that I don't lose them. Also wanting to clean the bolts up. Maybe I'll buy some Coke for that. Coca-Cola, that is. Not Coke. One thing I do realize when looking through the camera, this thing looks absolutely hideous. I mean, it looks hideous either way, but on camera it's just something else. Okay. Pick up the four-wheeler, move the shock out of the way, and now we're chilling. Wow, this thing is just sad. Saddest piece of machinery. And just like that, we got our bottom bolt. Do that in. So you really see how ugly this looks, and somebody already tried to spray it over here with black paint. This thing just looks miserable. Shock, as far as I could tell, is alive and still rideable, so I'm gonna try to clean this thing up, restore it, bring it back to its formal glory. Since it's kind of nice outside and it's not raining anymore, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is kind of wash these things off, scrub it with a brush maybe, and I don't know, we'll just go from there because I've never actually really cleaned shocks, but let's see where we can get going from this and basically to when we finish. Alright guys, you can already see how much better that looks. There's still a bunch of imperfections that I want to get to, and I want to see if there's a way to pull the spring off, because I want to paint it and I don't want to damage any of the paint on top of any other surfaces. And I really want it to come out looking nice, because some of these things, they're still left on. I mean, I guess I could just leave it, but I don't know, we'll see. It looks really good now. Even the sticker is still on here. Definitely a lot better than the old one. Let me show you what that looks like. So here's just for reference. This is approximately what it looks like. This is hosed down, but not brushed yet. So you can definitely see the difference between these two. Wow, check that out. This is after, this is before. You can see even in the shock. And I didn't even touch this part of the shock. Like, I had no contact, no brushes, nothing. You can just see that difference right off the bat. Wow, the product speaks for itself. Alright, so the bolts didn't exactly turn out how I wanted them to turn out, but whatever. It's not about the bolts, it's about the shock, and that thing is looking amazing. So again, just as a reference point, if you see that rear left shock, that thing looks absolutely crazy. Oh my god! Like, that thing is shining, glistening. Wow! But these two right here, just, I mean, you can see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to these two right ones, and you guys can see exactly what it looks like. Alright, so here we have this shock done, but really not liking the results of this one. I mean, not as much as the other one, because this one still has a few rust spots back here, over here, just a lot of stuff that I generally just don't want to be on it. And I might sand it down, see if it helps, but I doubt it'll do that much. Alright, so I decided to move the four-wheeler outside because I was going to strip it from all of those wires over there. And I want to clean up the frame a bit, and I want to also repaint it. So in order to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and strip all the wires off, and I guess try to figure out what's wrong with it, why the push start button doesn't want to work, and I don't know, maybe find what the wiring issue is. Alright, just like that, we got our whole wiring harness off, with the exclusion of a few bits over there. So like the switch assembly on the left side over there, I'm pretty sure the stator, starter wire, and just minimalistic things like that. Alright, so now I'm going to tackle that rear swing arm. I'm going to start kind of sanding it down and prepping it all over the sides, and kind of masking off the area around it just so I don't get any more paint on anything else. So I would really love to address the fact that I was born so smart. Like, I'm really the smartest individual on this earth. Reason being, and you don't have to be too jealous, when I spray water, I just spray it in my carburetor. So I also decided to remove this flow ring thing, or the thing that holds the swing arm in place to the chassis. I actually don't know what this thing does, but also got it out, and I'm going to be cleaning it just like I did the shocks.
1 hour later.
Alright, so it started running really low on sunlight, so I kind of sped things along and put the camera away and focused more on what I was doing. So as you can see, I took the rear subframe off, or whatever this rear part is called. I also sprayed down the rear piece right here. I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. It's been so hectic. I'm also going to wash this off, so don't look at that over there. But I have this whole swing arm painted underneath, on top, on the insides right here. And you can see it has like a nice little sparkle to it, minus the dirt, of course. So that looks good. And now I'm actually washing the subframe, or again, I don't know what this piece is called. And it looks really hideous. And I really don't like these weld marks, but I think I'm just gonna go ahead and leave them there unless I find a new one. But as for now, yeah, I'm just gonna be washing this thing, and yeah. All right, you guys, here's what we have at the end of the day. So it got really cold towards the end, and I had to put this little, I forgot what this thing is called, propane heater. And what I ended up doing for today's day is I got this whole subframe, or this rear end part, painted. It's painted everywhere. I have this swing arm painted. I have the frame painted, but the only thing that I didn't touch up on is these control arms. So that I will do tomorrow, and those will also be the color of the swing arm, so there's a little more contrast, if you will. Also wanted to touch up on this, touch up on these handlebars, and pretty much that'll be it. I also managed to pull the exhaust off because it was kind of in the way. I'm going to be cleaning the engine, because if you look at the engine versus the rest of the four-wheeler, it looks like complete butt. So I'm going to clean that up. And I also took the wiring off. Kind of tried right here to see how clean I could get it, and versus how dirty it actually is. I actually hit these lines right here. They ended up looking pretty nice. Painted those as well. But still have my work cut out for me. Still have a lot of things to go through. I still need to put the axle on with the carrier bearing. I still need to clean this under panel. Really wanted to take these shocks off, or the springs off these shocks. So I wanted to do it today, but didn't have enough time. What else? Let's see. Pretty much have to figure out the wiring. Minimalistic stuff pretty much after that. I already said I wanted to fix the exhaust pipe or clean it up as well. And pretty much after that, just start putting it together, because the build is nearing its end. Nah, I'm just kidding. I still got the plastics to do. But that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.